Hello, TikTok world. John here. Time for another video. And yes, I'm showing my face again. I hope you can all deal with it. I can deal with it. So if I can, you can. So I want to talk about style. How your painting style, your artistic style. Your style that everybody knows. So, many moons ago, when I decided I wanted to be a painter, I had a specific idea in my head of what I wanted to paint. And I knew what it wanted to look like. Up here, I had it perfectly laid out. And I knew I'd have to practice, and I knew I'd have to this, that, and the other. I knew I had to do all these things. So I started drawing, and I started sketching stuff out. I started painting it, and it always looked bad. And then it didn't matter how much I practiced, it never evolved, it never developed, okay? It just was always, ugh. And this is after a few years, okay? I started getting pretty good at painting, and as far as, my compositions were pretty good. I was getting better with my values, with, contrast, using color, stuff like that. But for the first, 5, 6 years of me painting, and this is going back a ways now. I actually had some hair back then when I was talking about this era of my painting career. And it wasn't fun. I had to talk myself into painting. I had to talk myself into sketching. I had to talk myself into everything. Because after so many years, it just didn't develop. So one day I'm painting and I am trying like everything else. I have a perfect sketch. I have everything mapped out. I got my ruler down to make sure that my distance between this and this is right for the perspective, and everything was perfect. And it started to look like shit all over again. So me and my Italian temper said enough, and I took a biggest brush I had, and I had the paint, and I just kind of went like this on my palette, and I went like this on the canvas, and I started screaming like a stupid idiot. My wife came in thinking, what the hell's wrong with him? I just said, get out of here. This is when we were in an apartment, and I had the spare bedroom as my studio. And I did that for about 40 minutes. And then I threw my brush down, went and took a shower, went to bed. I didn't even wash my brushes. I was done. Didn't get any sleep that night. I figured I'm done with painting. It's obviously not for me. I can't do what I want to do. I can't do anything. It looks like crap. I've been doing this for 5 years. So the next morning I go in, and this was like a Saturday or Sunday. It was on the weekend because it was in the morning. And I go in, and I specifically went in with the intent of taking my painting supplies and tossing them. It was done. And as I'm kind of collecting some stuff over here, I look up at the canvas. I was getting ready to put my fist through it. And I looked at it and said, son of a bitch, that actually looks decent. And it was still a little wet because it's oil paint at the time. I had already gone through my trials and tribulations with watercolor and acrylics. It's like, wait a minute, that's kind of not ugly. So then I take some more paint, and I'm kind of this, and I'm kind of this. And all of a sudden, I had a painting that looked reasonably well. Now, it didn't look like a professional artist, but it looked like something that didn't want to make me lose my lunch for the first time since I started. So I remembered what I did, which was didn't think about anything, just kind of went crazy. Did it again, but not quite as, not quite as dramatic. And I just started concentrating on shapes and colors. And every time I concentrated on shapes and colors, I started putting music on. For some reason, I didn't use music. I thought it'd break my concentration. I put on my 70s music that I love. That's what I grew up with. And all of a sudden, it started developing. So, that whole long story is for this. The style and the look, everything that I went into being an artist for, all of it fizzled. None of it worked out. It was all garbage. What I ended up with was something that people right now recognize me and my art. I'm not Thomas Kincaid recognizable, but when I go to a show, I'll have somebody come up to me, wait a minute, you were here 3 years ago, and I like this. Yeah, I remember this. and my style found me. So I guess what I'm trying to say in a long way is don't worry about finding your style. Don't worry about doing anything perfect. Don't worry about anything when you begin. The only thing that should be concerned to you is you have fun. Okay? If you have fun, you'll learn. You'll learn, you won't get discouraged, you'll be able to think with a clear head, and things will make sense quicker. I was very stubborn and stupid and pig-headed, and that's why it took me 5 freaking years to figure out what I was doing was stupid, backwards, and wrong. If I had a brain back then and wasn't so damn stubborn thinking I had all the answers, I would have hooked on to this idea of kind of letting the paint do its thing. After that happened, I started doing all this research on different painters, dead and alive, and everything else, and I came up with the same kind of common denominator. The brush and the paint and the canvas and all that other stuff are just the tools. The art comes from within. We cannot dictate what the heart wants to give. We just have to learn to accept that the heart wants to give it and allow our hand and the paint to do what the heart wants. Yes, that sounds cheesy, like it should be in a B-rated movie. I get it. But damn, when I started letting go and just let it in my heart and my feelings kind of go onto the canvas, that's when I made the greatest strides. That's when I started being able to show my art and not be embarrassed. About a year later, I sold my first painting. Maybe 2 years, but right in that area, not too long after. And then I haven't looked back since. And now I just go with it, and I just try to refine it as I go, but I always let my heart, when I paint, take the lead. Listen to the music that you like, that makes you feel good. Have the drink next to you that makes you feel good. Mine is strawberry, orange, banana, Crystal Light lemonade. As old as I am, I gotta watch my waist, so 5 calories a glass is kind of cool for me. My 70s music. I have a great home life with a beautiful wife. Allow your heart to take the lead. Your hand and your eyes just do your heart's bidding. Don't fight it. If you want to be an artist, you got to allow the part of your body that has the art to come out and say hello. I hope everybody has a good day. If you like that, say hey. Talk to you later.